Hello all, welcome back to Pals Pod. Phil, how are you doing?
I'm very well, thanks, mate. How are you?
I'm good, mate. I've had the day off. I'm slightly lubricated, so we'll see how it goes again. I'm not as bad as some other podcasts,
No,
so
so it's a good start.
it's a good start. I'm here. I didn't try and delay it this time, so it's we feel good. Phil, there's not got any first team games to talk about this, but do you want to talk about what's happened a little bit the last few games?
Yeah, we had four games throughout January, not July, throughout January. Sadly, only come away with 6 points. Probably left some on a few pitches, but in terms of performance, apart from maybe the second half away at Nuneaton, we've played really well and we've been in every game.
Yeah,
Um, it's been a successful month in terms of our sort of patterns and playing. We've just been on the wrong side of a few results. We've ran Newport for 80 minutes, come away with no points. Gone to Nuneaton and come away with no points. 5 points against
Oundle.
Roundup, thank you. And then narrowly lost by 5 points to Syston on the weekend. So in terms of results, it's actually not been that bad. We've just been on the wrong end of things, I think, and a few bad decisions here and there have cost us maybe another 5 points throughout the month. So
Yeah.
it's good, it's coming, and it felt a lot better this weekend than it has done in a few weeks. So
Yeah, which loss was harder to take out of the games we haven't?
I think the Nuneaton game was
Yeah,
the hardest one. I mean, no one gave us a chance against Newport or Syston really, and we probably went into the Nuneaton game thinking we were going to win. A few poor decisions and chances not taken and stuff like that. Left us ended up losing in the last play to take the bonus point away from us as well. So,
yeah,
frustrating all round that game.
yeah, and they knew that bonus point was quite invaluable to us because they celebrated that quite big, didn't they? The fact they
yeah,
took the bonus point off us as well.
yeah, but that last try I think also gave them a bonus point as well. So it was kind of like a double whammy on us in terms of points in the league. So yeah, we'll build into February. We've got a week off this week. I think we've only got 2 games in February.
Yeah,
Sam
well,
match and another. I'm not got that far ahead yet.
exactly. I mean, all good teams take an international break over this period of time.
That's it. You got to rest the old bodies that we've got in the first two nowadays, and
It's not enough tape to go around at the minute.
no, save some tape for a week. So yeah, no, it's good, and we'll keep building. And obviously, the lads who trained last night, it was a good session. We got plenty done, lots of running. So yeah, we'll keep going.
Yeah, yeah. We'll come back to Pavs, but as we're rugby pundits, I think it's the best way to describe us. Might as well talk about the Six Nations while we're here.
Yeah, because inside line and all that.
Yeah.
Um, we both had to Google heavily a lot of players for the Six Nations teams we were about to suggest.
Well, I'd already done with a mate this morning my England starting for Saturday, and I figured out you probably don't know enough about the England squad to pick, considering we're down on injuries. But games of the weekend, obviously England Scotland's a big game, but Wales Ireland could be a very good watch as well.
Wales Ireland could be good. I think the Welsh will need to have improved from last year to make a game of it. But then again, Ireland had a few woes, didn't they, last year? So, yeah, that's a good opener. Then you follow that up with England, Scotland, once we've all had a few beers. And, well, I say you guys, I'll be on my way back from a 5-year-old birthday party. But
are you invited or are you just going?
I'm taking Lucy, aren't I? But yeah, so England, Scotland will be good, and then obviously I've got a little thing for Italy, so hopefully they can do a giant killing and do France on Sunday.
It could, if Italy manage it, it could open the tournament because it could be a very difficult one if France just start really, really heavily smashing Italy, which I can see probably happening. To be fair,
Yeah, I think they're by far favourites, aren't they? They've really built something out of nothing in the last couple of years, with some real fantastic players coming through. So it's actually quite nice to watch France nowadays. It used to be quite frustrating, but actually it's quite entertaining.
Yeah, definitely. And I think if England had a full strength squad and it be on an alternate year, we might have been favourites. But to have injuries and also have 3 away games, one of them being France, obviously Scotland's an away game as well. It's going to be quite difficult, I think, for us to win the tournament this year. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it's all down to what happens on Saturday. I think if England start with a win against Scotland in Murrayfield, then that's a huge sort of boost to that England team who, suffered did they lose to Scotland last year? I think they did, didn't they?
Yes, at Twickenham for the first time in however many years.
So, yeah, that would be a massive boost and could get them going. But I always think with England is they win the first few, pair, these first 2 weekends, they do well. And then they go into that sort of third weekend once they've had a week off, and they're always a bit off the keel. So let's see if they can prove us wrong on that one. But yeah, it should be a good tournament. I might get a chance to watch a bit of it.
Yeah, it should be a good tournament. And I think a lot of people are talking about obviously Marcus Smith, but just to see Marcus Smith and Finn Russell on Saturday, even if you're neutral, will be quite a fun game, because as long as they give them the license to do whatever they want to do, then it could be a very loose game of rugby.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think you've finally got this period of international rugby where the ropes have been taken off a bit and there's a bit more freedom to play, isn't there?
Yeah.
And the French showed that a lot in the last couple of years, and England still a bit too structured for my liking, but it's coming. And with Marcus Smith, I'm not sure you can put the chains on him to make him play as England want to.
No, definitely. So I've semi-written a Six Nations squad, and I know you've got a few players. You've got most of the squad. Sorry, so we'll go off your team, and I'll comment on your team. But your merged Six Nations best team. What are you starting with on the front row?
So I don't know which side of the scrum these props played, but I've got Sinclair and Furlong.
Yeah, I have Sinclair. I have Furlong. I also had Wyn Jones as a little dash mark along, just because I think he's a pretty solid prop. But again, in club, I don't know. I think so. Yeah.
Oh, well, okay. I missed him. But I'd agree with that to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Who've you got a hooker?
It's a blank space. Now, my heart definitely says Jamie George, just because I think he is a very, very good hooker when he wants to be a very, very good hooker. But who have you got?
Well, I had Jamie George, but I don't really want to have Jamie George. So it would be Jamie George or the French hooker whose name I can't pronounce. Is it Mavaka?
I know who you mean. Yeah.
It'd be him or Mavaka.
Yeah.
I'd probably go Mavaka for, je ne sais quoi. But yeah, Jamie George in terms of try scoring. But Jamie George's tries are always just off the back of mauls. It's like Kieran. It's like...
Yeah. I just, what I like about Jamie George, he's just very reliable. For me, people always want to see Luke Cowan-Dickie start over for England, but because he's so much better in the loose, as in carries hard at LCD. But I think against the French, against the Scottish, you tire him out and then you bring on your heavy hitters a bit later.
LCD, is that what we're calling him now, is it?
Well, I just can't be bothered to keep saying Luke Cowan-Dickie after I've had a few beers. It's quite a tongue twister for me.
Fair enough. Second row.
Well, one's already there, Maritase.
Yeah, one. Yeah, well, you could put him anywhere, couldn't you? Yeah, he goes in, and then I've gone with Ryan from Ireland. I think he's class.
Yeah.
He's an absolute workhorse and not at all a show pony. So yeah, I quite like him.
Yeah, no, I got no gripes with that one at all, Phil.
Back row.
Again, I'll put my England name out there. Curry.
Yeah, I've got Curry at 6.
What is your back row?
Curry, Watson.
Hamish, obviously. Yeah.
And then just to get an Italian in there, I've got Negri at 8. Yeah.
To be fair, he's quite an exciting 8.
He's very good.
If he wasn't Italian, he'd be doing very, very well at international rugby.
you'd probably take the Irish or the Welsh number 8, wouldn't you?
Yeah, who are the other people?
Uh, what's his name?
We've tried so hard to be very good at this. The Irish 8, you've got
Is it Moriarty?
Moriarty, the Welsh 8.
And then the Irish 8 is Ben. Oh, Conan, isn't it? Conan played 8.
Oh, yeah, he played, didn't he, in the Lions? Yeah. No, I do like Conan, actually. He's a good player. I don't think I'll be able to edit this to make it sound like we know what we're on about.
No, everyone knows. Curry and Watson for me, though, those two at 6 and 7.
That's quite lethal, isn't it? Actually?
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I think they played together in the Lions tour.
Yeah, and Watson is what the Scots call a generational Scottish player. You don't get many people of Scott that do what he does. He's very much comes around once in a while for Scotland. We kind of breed back rays. That's kind of what we've been doing a little bit, all right. But Scotland has struggled over the last kind of few years, but he's definitely been a first name on the team sheet for a lot of people, I think, in conversations like this.
Yeah, definitely. At 9, I'm guessing we're all agreed.
Yeah, Ben Youngs. Dupont.
He's probably one of the best players in the world at the moment.
If not the best, I think.
Yeah, him or Aaron Smith. And he's not playing in the Six Nations, so I can't expect him.
Funny that, isn't it, really? You're 10.
I've gone Finn Russell.
See, I've gone Finn / Marcus Smith. Just because I think, maybe not this year, in a few years' time, he will be ripping it up. I believe.
I think for this year, though, I'd go Russell just because he's done it. Don't like Johnny Sexton.
No. Why is he still? Can't he retire?
I don't know who plays 10 for Wales. Is it the guy from Bristol or what's his name from Saints? Dan Bigger still, is it?
Captain.
Don't like him.
He's been playing all right, but yeah, it won't be Sheedy. Sheedy won't be starting for Wales, unfortunately. That's sad for everyone else. It's a very good player.
Intermac's good, but I don't rate him that highly. And then
he's very French about the way he plays, isn't he? Intermac.
Yeah, Italy's just, they've never had a fly off since Romano Pez, circa 2007.
Not had anything since the dispense. Centres,
I've gone Ringrose and Slade.
Oh, have you? That's interesting. I've gone Harris. I've gone Slade as well.
Yeah, I like Harris. I do like Harris. The Scottish centres were unfortunate to miss out.
And I'll tell you what, I know he only played one game. I think it was one game last Six Nations, but Cam Redpath, he had a hell of a game, and he's a very good centre as well.
You've also got like Vakatawa and Fiku.
Yeah.
Who are there in there. I mean, there's a lot of good centres, but I think most teams only have one.
Most teams only have one centre.
One good centre.
Right.
Obviously, they have to have two, Tom. Otherwise, it doesn't
that's
work.
what I thought. I don't want to explain to someone that used to play rugby professionally, but I thought I was going to. I think I agree. I mean, I think most people within the UK and Europe would agree if Manu Tuolangi was consistently fit and firing, he'd probably be one of the best centres in the world, but he's just not consistent enough to be anywhere near that. But yeah, I agree that Ringrose, Harris and Slade are all up there in the top 3. Slade is just a different ball player at the minute, I think.
Yeah, he definitely, get the ball in his hands and he can do some damage.
Yeah. You want wings first then?
So Van der Merwe has gone straight in because I thought he was absolutely class on the Lions tour.
Yeah.
And then either wing, I just didn't know.
I've gone for the man which is now on the Exeter Chiefs badge, being Jack Null, because I think he is world class.
So I don't watch enough rugby, as we all know, I've seen him play, but I've heard that he's been playing very well. I've gone with Adams.
Oh, Josh Adams from Wales.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he's another good player. He's a very good player. I think wingers are hard, aren't they? Because if the ball gets out to them, they can look very good. If it doesn't, they can just not be there. It's
Yes.
like when you put the ball in Johnny May's hands, he's one of the best wingers in the world. But apart from that, he ain't got a fucking clue what he's doing on the rugby field. It's very difficult to keep. He's a bit like a Barton, isn't it? I think we always say that whenever Johnny May comes up. Fullback,
Hogg.
I've gone Hogg. I'd like to think in a few years, Billy Stewart will be there as the best 15.
Yeah, again, he's another player that I'm not really seeing anything of. I think Dulant's quite good. I'm not a massive fan of Liam Williams. A bit boring, and he's got a funny looking face.
He always looks like he's really upset as well.
Yeah, he looks like he's about to cry all the time.
I don't understand why. He's a very frustrating player in that sense because he just looks like he's crying all the time. Yeah,
Hogg.
Yeah. I think Hogg is by far probably one of the best fullbacks in the world, let alone in Europe as well. He just knows the game too well, doesn't he? But he's getting on. He might not have many more years of Hoggy.
I know, it's weird. He doesn't seem like he's been around that long.
No, he's had some new teeth and new hair transplant, hasn't he? That was what I heard a few years ago. So I imagine he's tried to add on some years there. I'm speaking like I'm in the know. I just listen to other people's podcasts, if I'm honest. But yeah, no, for now, Hoggy is definitely best 15. Question, didn't pose this before. Out of all the coaches, who would you have coach your Six Nations dream team?
Probably Gregor Townsend.
Would you?
Yeah, I think he's massively overlooked.
I think he is. And I think just the pure passion he'd installing people would help win games.
Yeah. If you think what he's done with that Scotland front five.
Oh, they were wank, and now it was their best. I mean, I know they finished fourth last year, but it was their best Six Nations in years, wasn't it?
Yeah. And he's just done great things for Scottish rugby, and with the greatest respect, give him some better players and see what we can do with them.
Yeah, but he's one of them that, I mean, he'd probably do wonders with the England squad, but he's never going to ever get involved in the England squad. Did you see the RFU has supposedly approached Gatland and Razzie about the England job when Eddie Jones steps down?
Really?
Yeah. The only reason I've said this to mates' face, because one of my mates was like, Warren Gatland would never come to England. He would, but only to do one better than Eddie Jones. That's the only reason he'd ever take the job. Near enough to a World Cup to be able to have enough time to make it his team, but to be able to win it as well. That'd be the only time. But I can't really see any logical. If England want to be the best team in the world, you've got to have one of the best first team coaches, and he is by far one of the best first team coaches.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think both of them have shown their ability. I don't really understand how Gatland's not been more successful. I.e., he's not won much. Yeah.
I mean, it was a relatively decent Welsh squad he had as well. I think it was at the era where England probably were punching at the top 1 or 2 mark in the world rankings, weren't they?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we don't need to go into the coaching conversation. I'm sure that will come up for about 5 minutes in other ones. But apart from that, there's not really any non-international coaches people would look at the minute to take an international job quite like it. People always throw people like Steve Borthwick or Rob Baxter around, but they're just nowhere near it. It's not an easy game to be a tactical genius.
It's very different as well, because if you're a club coach, you get week upon week upon week to build, set up your team. When you do an internationals, you get a whole sort of Six Nation period or World Cup period, but you only get a few weeks up before that to do the stuff that you want to do. And I think that's missed, especially in rugby where there's a lot of different aspects of the game to put together.
Yeah.
That short space of time, and then you don't want to be running the lads into the ground and sending them back to the clubs broken. So it's it's a tough gig.
Yeah, and it's especially hard in the sense if you look at it where you're going, you've only got a few weeks of these lads, but these are also lads that have been, it's been drilled into them to play in a certain way. To then train them out of it to play at an international level must be extremely difficult.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Right, should we get our guest on? Yeah, we thought we'd get Dougie in to talk us through a view from the sideline of the season so far, and then also talk to him a bit about what's been going on and what's coming up in his life.
Yeah, definitely. So here he is again, Doug. You're back on the pod, third time lucky. How you doing?
Yeah, good. Feeling good. Sat in the same place. And I'd say not much has changed, but table's the other way around. But yeah. Forward to another episode of the Paviors.
Right, exciting times. We were saying we were going to reminisce, but you're still the highest listened to and watched podcast. I think you're on like 400 views now, mate. There's a massive fangirl club out there for you. I think that's what
spent my time wisely.
yeah.
No, beginner's luck. I think there's been a fair few more.
Well, downhill.
Yeah, I don't get really. It's the one I enjoyed the least as well. So, not surprisingly,
effectively the guinea pig, and look at where we are now.
I felt like the guinea pig, but yeah, no, it's going really well. Credit to you both. It's been fantastic. The people you've had on, conversations you just sparked, not just in these sort of in the recordings, but elsewhere when people are referring to it. But spot on.
That's what we're here for, to gain celebrity status. So how you been getting on? For those who at Pavs, they've seen you've not been playing. What's the threat?
I suffered a hand injury. Bit of hand trauma. I sort of started at work and then I aggravated it through other different bits and bobs and ended up with a pretty bad infection in my hand. So that saw me with 2 surgeries, a nice A&E visit, and a fair while out of the game, which is obviously still ongoing. The recovery's still ongoing. But yeah, not ideal. Like I say, at the time, you think it's something that's just going to be over. Like with any injury you suffer in rugby, you think, a couple of weeks. You know, everyone's asking you, when you're back. It's just been one of these. It's just going to take time. And once you get your head around it, and the better it's going to get for you, really.
Yeah. To be fair, I think I'm one of them people that go, "Oh, you're nearly ready to come back then," and it must be a really shit thing to hear when you know you're probably not going to be back anytime soon.
Well, to be fair, I remember talking to Theo. Obviously, he had a knee up earlier in the year.
Yeah.
I remember talking to him, and he said he's quite confident. He's had a consultancy, and they said, 6 weeks, I'll be back playing and training. I thought, I'm going to beat Theo back. I'm going to be back before Theo. Yeah, that didn't happen. That didn't happen.
You are back training. You've done some training sessions. You've helped the backs out with their moves.
True. Managed to do a coaching session when the Jenny ran out of diesel as well, which is first.
Saved you
there for that.
Absolutely saved you there.
There you go. Felt like it's been sabotaged, mate. It was the start of something big. It was the start of something big. And in fact, the guys did better with the lights off.
And that doesn't surprise me.
And
that doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah. We were doing a scrummaging session in the top corner. I kept losing my footing, so I was quite happy when the any man out of diesel, if I'm honest.
Getting out propped by a machine.
More by the leaves on the ground, I think, we're out properly.
Right, I'll back off.
But you've watched quite a few of the games recently.
Yeah, definitely.
What have your thoughts been?
Apart from a dying urge to get out there, I think it's been strong. I think we've had some strong performances. I think it's nice to see some of the young lads coming through. I think it's been sort of mentioned a lot, but I think it's just because of also all come at one time. We've had a sort of a spot where we didn't really have many young prospects coming through, and then now all of a sudden they're all coming to fruition, whether they be 18, 20, but they're all hitting the ground running now, which is excellent to see. But I mean, the nature of this league, and the circumstances obviously this year has affected a lot of other clubs. I don't feel like it's affected us that badly. I think we've put out some good performances, sometimes frustratingly, because we haven't managed to reflect those performances on the road for whatever reason. But it's difficult to be too critical of everybody, obviously, especially when you're not playing, but also when everything's so tight, and numerically, if you look at results, they don't really reflect how competitive each game's been. You know, there's a result at the weekend, not looking at our team especially, but teams in the league, and all 25 all against Sandbach. Their away fixture was, I think, 54-12, which is like massive. That's like a thrashing. And then return fixture, completely different story. But it's been, as far as Paviors' performance, it's been good to watch. It's been some great tries, especially out wide, which obviously is the structure that we've been tending to play. And it's often been really rewarding to watch. I never thought I'd get used to it. And I think I take myself to the dugout a few times and sit with Nige, just to have a little bit of a cool off. But that's not sort of reflecting on the way we've been playing. More so sort of my frustration not being able to join you all out there. You know, I think we were doing well. What are your thoughts on it?
We had a brief chat about it at the beginning.
Yeah.
You know, I think we've been, especially the last month, I think we've played really well in every game, and things just haven't quite gone our way in certain places.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the question I've got for you is how painful is it to stand and watch, or have you kind of come to terms with it?
It's not more so that the standing and watching is obviously difficult, but there's like other areas that it affects. So like your Saturday morning routine, like I'm pacing around the house at 9 o'clock. I can't think about anything else. So more recently, I've obviously still eat the same breakfast. Like, I don't know your routines out of however long you still have the same stuff. But more recently, I've obviously been arriving a bit later to watch the games, just so my build-up starts at a different time rather than sort of like 9 a.m. But
I obviously had about 4.5, 5 months out with my Achilles when I first came back, and I hated every minute of it.
Yeah.
But I cannot stand watching rugby.
No.
Especially a game that I want to be playing in, and I couldn't. I was just getting more and more infuriated. And we were playing well that year, and we were winning, you know, most games.
Yeah, that could be even more frustrating, though, can't it?
Yeah,
Not part of a win. But I don't know. I tell you, like, obviously, I'm not going to talk about how annoying it is to watch too much, but you know, like later on, like the last 20 minutes, I'm like, come on. Like, what's going on? You like,
why is everyone tired?
why are you dropping off the pace? And so games where obviously we win at home against Oundle and it's tight and we managed to hold them out defensively, help my heart rate recover, really. I think we've run about 120 some games. You've got no, what do you do? You've got no outlet, have you? You just pace up and down, but no, it's not too bad. You can't dwell on it too much.
No, I mean, for me, it's one of them that it's very rare that you can be a supporter of the club you play for and you love playing for as well. Because obviously, especially both of you, you're quite common. If you're fit, you're on the team sheet. You know, one of the first names on the team sheet, both of you really. So to be able to be a fan of Paviors, do you see it through a different lens? Or are you still a player coming back from injury, or do you see yourself as a fan as well?
I don't know. I don't know. I think I'll be a player sort of coming back from old age. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But no, you become a supporter in a lot of respects. Like the first few games were hard to watch, and then we obviously spoke about young players when we were through. Cam Seaton seemed to settle into the 12 role really well. And in that sense, you can start to enjoy watching a bit more. Like there's not a sense of guilt or anything like that. People are playing well in your position, doing a great job. So you're thinking, actually, like, you know, you feel much more at ease, and you support the lads in any situation anyway. So yeah, I think that's another thing that's reflected our performance this season against a lot of other clubs. You can hear them on the pitch; they're not a unit, and I think within our team and squad structure, etc., there is that support for each other, which is sort of inherent, and that you can sort of see that when the guys are, you know, defending and attacking with a lot of sort of volition because they're doing it for the guy next to them.
Yeah.
You can support that any day of the week.
Oh, 100%. And before we move on to, because talk about the past is sometimes quite damning, but for both of you, Dougie, from off the pitch or Phil on the pitch, what have been your standout moments of the season so far? Because I mean, we've had losses and we've had wins, but there must be, even if it's seeing someone come through and they're playing really well in their position. What are the highlights so far?
Jack Taylor's performances so far this year have been great. You know, he's had some boots to fill with his brother tearing it up for the last few years, and then he's come in and really made that 13 shirt his own. I think he's been absolutely fantastic. Don't get too big-headed, Jack. I'll rip it off. And then also just the way we've managed to put our team out every week with everything that's going on, you know, COVID, people having kids, you know, all that sort of life that goes on beyond rugby. I think we're probably one of the few teams that haven't missed a game this year. I think that's quite impressive for one of the amateur teams in the league.
Yeah. You've jinxed it now, mate. Well done.
I've got this far.
Well, you're right there, because there's been a few times when, you know, they've emphasised that we've got the option to like take a week off, or however you want to call it, a postponement. And I think everyone thinks, why would you do that? Like, you see, I think that's a good reflection. To be fair, I've got to think of another answer, haven't I? As good as that. But you've written a script, Phil, haven't you?
There's no script here today.
I tend not to.
Why are you two going about the scripts you've been writing?
Only if it's a big guest, mate.
Has anyone got a good guest on?
So your highlight this year is Jack Taylor. Is that what you're saying?
I think so. As from an individual performance place.
You want me to say you or not? Yeah,
no, well, obviously not. No.
No, I think if you're looking at individual performances, I think Matt Molyneux. I think he's having a fantastic season, and some of the skills that he demonstrates that he has coming onto high balls, you know, really hitting the ball at pace in the line, straightening up. It sounds simple and sort of mundane, but it's great. It's really great to watch, and he is one of those guys that you are, you know, what you've been a teammate for ages, and obviously you share the change room with him a lot, but something that you do become a fan of. You know, it's fantastic to watch.
I think he's done quite well to stay on the pitch this year as well.
Hey, I'm not saying anything. I think, he's not got a bad record this year.
He's only had one.
I think Jonty might have. Did Jonty have a yellow this year?
Yeah. Did he get a yellow at Bridge North? Was it just No, Jonty got a yellow for that penalty try the other week, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Yeah. I think he's got one try, one yellow card.
Yeah, because for a bit it was more yellows than tries, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Which is quite nice. Quite nice to see that happen, isn't it, really? Couldn't happen to a nicer bloke.
No, but yeah, other highlights. Open the box coming back. It's a massive highlight.
Absolutely.
Is it, you know, especially when you've got people like Ollie and Jim stepping up to do it as well. And I think potentially there'll be some other people that might fancy that gig. Fingers crossed.
Is that because you don't?
Hey, it's good laugh. It's good for the club, raising money for the club.
Well, not the last 2 weeks, mate. You got the jackpot gone twice in a row.
Listen, you don't know how much we talk, so it's okay. No, you're right. We got absolutely ransacked 2 weeks in a row, and it was both. The first time around was good. Someone from the CFS Storage sponsor, Dave, but away side took it away with them. Didn't even spend it behind the bar.
Oh, arseholes. That's the whole point of it. You put it back behind the bar.
I didn't want a drink out of it.
No, exactly.
But yeah, there's lots of highlights, mate, and there will be some more.
There will be some more, Dougie, because I believe in 18 days' time, your good lady wife is due a baby.
This is true. 18 days. You've done your homework, Phil. Can't wait. Really excited. I'm going to put it out there. I don't think it's going to be that long. I don't think we're going to be waiting till the 20th, but I don't want to jinx it or anything like that. So, we can't wait. Another Billam in the clubhouse, I think, and a boy this time. We just had George's.
Harsh on Bill, that, isn't it?
Yeah. What's that?
Harsh on Billy, that.
No, but Alexandro's joined us more recently than Billy, as you'll know, because you've done your homework, Phil. We're buzzing. Although I'm a bit fuming because she's binge watching Afterlife in the next room, and like, who does that? You start watching a box set, you don't just go off on your own.
Oh, she's not gone gung ho on you.
I can still hear it.
Oh, that's terrible.
That's why I look slightly distracted.
It's a class series, to be fair.
Yeah, I watched it all. It's very good.
It's very good. It is very good. But yeah, it does sound like within about kind of 15 years' time, we're going to have a very strong first team squad for Paviors with all these little ones coming through.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. I think, it is in the blood, but also, let's face it, it's going to be a born dancer. He's going to be a born dancer, and he's probably going to be professional if he's got my sort of knowledge of Strictly and all that. So,
yeah, hell of an arsehole.
Thanks, Phil.
Before we let you go, Dougie, Shane, what about, we've just spoken about the highlights so far. What do you want to see happen to not just the first team, but the club over the next few months, closing into the latter stage of the season?
I think sort of a club as a whole, it's almost creeping in already. We're getting to the stage where we've got lots of support coming to watch, which is bringing obviously a lot of interest, especially people realizing that, sponsoring the game is, quite important and enjoyable and worthwhile. Obviously there's a social side of the Thursdays and all that sort of stuff that's really coming through. But links with the minis. So obviously we know last Saturday we had the under 10s to 12s coming up and doing just like a boot clean after the first team game, and I think it was a minimum donation £3, get your boots cleaned. Fundraiser for their tour went down an absolute storm. Both home and away teams providing the thing, their boots to be cleaned. I just think those sort of connections really allow both sort of sides of the club to really benefit from each other and get value from both sides. I think even the referee had his boots cleaned, and people were bringing boots even when they weren't playing to get done. So, and those are the sort of things that you can sort of, when you start really, if your club starts to sort of perform at really high levels, those are the things where everybody starts to add in little. You might see it as a small addition, but if that's happening 5-6 times a season, it's fantastic.
Yeah. I agree. We've always, ever since I've been at Pavs anyway, I'm sure it's been longer than since I've been around, but being that family club, but not just seeing the links between the minis and the seniors coming up, but we're seeing a lot more new faces come as well, and not just, young new faces as well, aren't we? We're seeing, feel like there's been a few lads that turned up who are well past their peak. And a nice way to say it. I mean, I've watched Ref run, and if I'm quicker than Ref, it says a lot. But
you're right, though. It's nice to have all those personalities come up, and I think through the next few weeks, with the Six Nations happening, well, normally you see a few more people sort of pick up the boots and join us, really.
Yeah.
But what are your Six Nations predictions?
We didn't actually do predictions, did we?
No, we didn't actually.
Shall we do predictions for Saturday?
Go on then. Shall I
So you've got Ireland, Wales, haven't you? And you've got Scotland, England.
So Dougie's obviously going to say that Scotland are going to win, just to wind me up, but because Dougie's the worst.
Are you going for England then?
Ever.
Are you going for England then? Is that? I don't know. I don't know if I'm the worst for Scotland. There's plenty out there.
I think Scotland and England is a weird one, though, because people are pitting Scotland as favourites because it's probably going to be raining, and England have got a lot more injuries, a lot of injuries compared to the Scots at the minute. But I could see it being a lot closer than a lot closer than I'd like.
Than it should be.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, let's start on Ireland, Wales. Score lines for Ireland, Wales.
Oh, score lines. I like that.
34-10 Ireland.
34-10.
Yeah. I can't see Reece Zammit getting out of the blocks and being.
I'm gonna go 26-12 to Ireland.
Why are you just gonna? Okay. You can go first on the next one, Phil.
All right. Then
get that wrong.
I'll say 21-12 to Ireland. Then, if we're
oh yeah, bold guys, bold.
Yeah. Go on then, Phil. Scotland, England.
33-26 to England.
Gee.
Ooh, good recovery.
Go on, Dougie.
Oh, I'm going next to man. Yeah, I think that's probably the right margin. To be fair, I think I've got to go the other way, haven't I? Really. So I'm going to go 31-26 Scotland.
Oh, see, I don't know if I'm going heart or head here, but I think there might be. I think it'll be close, and then Scotland, and then England will get 2 or 3 very quick in succession to kill it off.
That's what I was going to go for, Tom. To be fair.
So I'm going to say, fuck it, 50-21 to England, I think. The big 5-0.
Well, at least we're predicting high-scoring games anyway. So,
well, yeah. And do we want to predict the France-Italy game while we're here or not?
Yeah, I've got 9 points to 6 to Italy.
9-6 to Italy.
I'm going to go 24-10 France.
I was going to say that's a lot to ask for.
Are you writing all these down, Tom, by the way?
I am as well, yeah.
Oh, no.
I to have it. I'm going to say this. Do you know the problem with predicting scores? And then I've got to work out in my head if it's mathematically possible in a rugby game.
No, you don't do that. Just sound confident, mate.
All right.
What do you mean? The only score you can't get is like 1, 2, and 4, isn't it?
Is that a Phil fact?
Is that a Phil fact?
You got the answers on the ceiling again.
That's right. That's the only 3 scores you can't have.
Oh, really? Well, that blows my score is 36-4, doesn't it? I am going to go 36 for France and 12 for Italy. I think that'd be a big stonker. But I don't think we need to predict any more than that. We might have to call on someone else next week to add in their predictions for next week's round of games. For Dougie, thank you very much for joining us. Phil, did you have any more questions for our club captain while he's here?
You going training tomorrow?
I will be at training tomorrow.
And have you ordered your pie or sausage roll?
I have ordered a steak and ale pie. I think we're the only two that have ordered our steak pies at the moment.
There's only 5 steak pies left, so I'm glad we're in. Hoping there's a big pot of gravy. Thanks, Dave.
Now I'm looking forward to it. Cam Seaton as well, another mention, is on the quiz.
And Cam's on quiz. I'm hoping he turns up.
Learn your phonics.
Right. We'll let you get off to Afterlife. Enjoy it.
We've got a lot of catching up to do, I think.
We've got a lot of catching up. Just go and take the remote. Fast. It's not fast.
No.
What is it?
Rewind.
That's the word. Rewind and get us the spot you need to. But yeah, we'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
And for those who listen, we'll see you Saturday. See you in a bit.
See you later. Cheers, guys. Bye.
So, social events coming up. Phil, we've got the Maggie's afternoon. Do you want to shed a bit more light on that? You know more than me about that?
Yeah, 25th, Friday the 25th of Feb. 3 different sportsmen up at the club for a sportsman's dinner organised by Neil Kendrick. Tickets are available, probably from Neil Kendrick. That's pretty much all I know.
Maggie's afternoon is definitely worth going to. They always seem like they're good fun, and there's some good sportsmen coming down to it. People will be happy to know it's not me or Phil doing any of the speaking there. Dougie, as you thumbs up from Doug. Do you want to?
The next sort of event or social on the calendar is pub golf. Whoop, whoop. It's back. So we did a virtual one in lockdown, and then this is the first fully blown pub golf back out on the course, teeing off on the Saturday, Easter Saturday, the 16th of April. So get yourself involved. Everybody's welcome, and it's always a good crack. So
Phil's putting in his calendar now.
He's going in right now.
Yeah, he is. So, don your +4s and your Argyle socks and get yourself a flat cap and get out there, really.
Is it going to be, is there going to be a slightly different take on it? Are we going trad, or is it you just don't want to show your cards?
We'll wait and see. All I know is you'll be available.
I'll be available.
There you go.
So what else do people need?
It doesn't need any more selling, does it?
I was going to say, can I stay at yours, Doug? But you're going to have a younger child than I do, so I don't think I'll bother, thanks.
Yeah, sorry, can I stay at yours? No.
Yeah.
No, it like I say, it's normally very inclusive. Everybody comes. There's no charge.
Normally.
Never has been. You get your scorecard. You even get a pen.
I know.
Which is like outrageous. And obviously you go down, then we all know how pub golf works. If you don't, ask somebody in the pod or somebody at the club about it, and I'm sure they'll tell you. There'll be some information going out a few weeks before when everything's been finalised. But yeah, I look forward to seeing you there.
On that note, thank you very much for coming on again, Dougie. I know you said thank you once. Next week, we have no idea what's going to happen. So watch this space and enjoy. But thank you for listening, and we'll see you soon. Do you want to sing the theme tune, Dougie? You like the tune?